The Bruins and the Wild are rolling after the trade deadline. Holy! What's up, guys? It's Tumblin Muffins. Me and Ben are back at it. I'm Noah, and he's, like I said, Ben.
So yay!
Yep, we're gonna have better video quality, or not video, but audio quality. And before we get into the aftermath of the trade deadline, because we are recording this after, it's gonna come out after, so we're just gonna make it like an aftermath video, like how all the teams are doing, the playoff race, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, there's been some other hockey news. Tom Wilson. So let me just describe the play. So Buchnevich is, he's driving the net, falls on his stomach, and the play is called because I think Samsonov was in net, grabs the puck. Wilson is at the scrum at the front of the net, falls on Buchnevich, has his stick either on his neck or like under his neck, but it's still like there, and he's pushing down on Buchnevich like against the ice, and then he punches him in the back. And Buchnevich thankfully gets up. He's not injured, which is lucky because
it just escalates the entire thing.
It was a brutal play. And then they get up. Strome ripped Wilson off of Buchnevich, and then Panarin attacks Wilson, and Wilson turns around, rips Panarin's head off, and then forces it over to an open area in the ice and throws him to the ground. Panarin holds on to Wilson, who falls as well. But Panarin's head comes so close to hitting the ice. It's a super dangerous play. And the
probably the best player.
Oh no, the best player on the Rangers. He's having a great season, and he's out for the rest of the season, which, to be honest, is only 3 games, but still, like, you punish the action, not the outcome. And this action, I saw it and it was like, okay, he's getting like 15 games. He's already concussed Carlo this season. He just made his return over a month after the concussion in Tuesday's game.
It was an elongated concussion.
Yeah, it was a brutal hit on Carlo. So and that got 7 games, which is I was fine with 7 games.
The fact that Wilson hasn't been banned from the game of hockey.
Well, no, he would get like a 20 game suspension is good, but the league, it just gives him a $5,000 fine, the same as McDavid for elbowing and McKinnon for throwing a helmet. And then today, Shane Gostisbehere gets a penalty, or gets a suspension for 2 games for boarding. Yeah, that was a solid play.
That's what they should have been doing with the other 3.
I just want to say, the boarding, that one, yeah, that's a 2-game penalty, 2-game suspension. It was a clear boarding, and I don't think he has any history. Wilson, made a more dangerous play on 2 players, and has a massive history of being suspended 1 time this year and 3 times in 2018-19. Or maybe 2017, I don't know. But, I don't know how they don't put him out for, say, 20 games and actually keep it 20 games instead of the 20 games reduced to 14. That hit, or the play that he made by punching Buchnevich in the back of the neck, in the top back, and and then throwing Panarin to the ice, literally chucking him full on, I don't know, this. And then this gets more interesting though, because the Rangers released a big statement calling out the director of player safety, George Peros, and saying he is unfit to continue in this role, and we believe he should be changed, or something like that. And they were very disappointed. Everyone online except Capitals fans, they're all defending him for some reason.
Even though in the past they've agreed that he deserved the...
No, they really haven't. But the Rangers, they released a statement And reports have that the league is going to fine the Rangers. And we don't know how much it is, but it could be a lot. This is getting recorded on Wednesday, May 5th. So that's just to give you, that's all we know from this date. But I don't understand how that is a $5,000 fine. The helmet throwing, give him a game suspension. That's not the NHL. The elbowing, that's a 2-game suspension. I mean, that was a forceful elbow from McDavid. Wilson getting a $5,000 fine. It's like saying chucking someone on the ice and punching someone in the back of the neck is as much as throwing a helmet at someone. Tossing a helmet at someone. I don't agree with that.
This is where the difference come out in hockey and football.
Yeah.
Where this one dude played for the Lions, he kicked someone's helmet and used his foot and pushed the dude's head into the dirt with his foot, and he was ejected from the game and he didn't play the next game. And McKinnon gets fined $5,000 for throwing a helmet at someone.
Yeah,
they're very similar, but they're obviously.
I mean, no, throwing a helmet at someone, it's not really. He didn't chuck it. He just tossed it. It wasn't a terribly bad play. It's just that doesn't belong in the NHL. Suspended for a game. That's the one where the $5,000 fine. While I don't agree with it, it at least it does sort of fit the crime. But he's making $6 million a year. And he's going to get a huge pay raise. $5,000 is nothing, and that is why these players need to be punished. Wilson, $5,000 is literally 0.009% of his salary. So
I feel like that was the Capitals' tactic. They're like, let's give him so much money that he can pay all of his fines in a year.
Honestly, that might be true. But other than that, there's a ton of playoff races going on. Doing a little cut here, because I need to look up the standings and do some mental math. So we're gonna go through all the divisions really quick and just give them an update. So Central Division, Carolina, Florida, Tampa, all clinched, and Carolina's currently in first, looking they're gonna secure the division, which is actually surprising. I thought Tampa would, but good on Carolina. I don't like Tampa. Chicago, Detroit, Columbus, all been eliminated from contention. Columbus is doing worse than Detroit. I don't really know how that's possible, but then Nashville and Dallas. This is interesting. So Nashville has 3 games left at 60 points. If they win and Dallas loses, Dallas is out and Nashville clinches. So they have a 4-point gap. Dallas can get to a max, because they have 4 games left at 56 points. They can get it to a max of 64 points. So now they have to get lucky with Nashville losing, and also they have to go on a winning streak. 4 games isn't long. That's what the Bruins were on before Devils beat them last night. Never mind.
The teams eliminated from playoff contention are New Jersey, Buffalo, Columbus.
Well, yeah, I'm going by division. Like I said, for Central is Chicago, Detroit, Columbus, and there's 1 spot left in that, which is actually in all the divisions but the North. So in the West, where the Minnesota Wild are, we got Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, all battling for that top spot and all clinched the playoffs. Now this one's a bit more easy to say. So Los Angeles, San Jose, Anaheim, all out, and currently it's just Arizona left. They can get to a max of 56 points. They have 3 games. And St. Louis can get to a max of 67 points and have 55 points. So they're 1 point away from clinching.
I would honestly say St. Louis, that Arizona is out.
Yeah, no, I really do think. I think St. Louis plays the Ducks tonight. I don't know actually, but I'm pretty sure maybe. But I think St. Louis is about to clinch tonight. In the East, where the Bruins are, all 4 teams have clinched. Pittsburgh, Washington, Boston, and New York. And New York's, the Islanders have actually fallen to 4th place. Boston's in 3rd, and it's a tight battle where Penguins have 73 Caps of 71, Bruins at 69, nice, and Islanders at 68. So, really close race, and honestly, I think the Bruins and Capitals both have a shot at top spot. I don't think the Islanders can do it because they only have 3 games. They'd have to go. Oh no, they can get to 74. Pittsburgh's at 73, and Bruins and Caps can each get to higher. So I think that race for the Islanders, they're gonna need to see if they can get third or something. But Rangers, Philly, Devils, and Sabres all eliminated. So that's how we're looking there. Then it's interesting in the North Division because of Vancouver's long COVID outbreak. What we have is Toronto and Edmonton have clinched, and Winnipeg can clinch tonight. They have the same points as Montreal, same games played, and even though Montreal plays tonight, they can't clinch, which is really weird to me.
How can they not clinch?
I don't know. They're both at 57. Vancouver can get a max of 59. It's because I don't know. They have more wins. I think maybe it's just the fact that if Winnipeg wins, then so if Winnipeg wins, then they have they will be at 59, which is the max Vancouver can get, but also they'll have more wins than Vancouver will be able to get, because Vancouver can get 9 wins, and so can.
Oh, that makes
so
sense. Yeah.
Okay, so Vancouver can get a max of 28 wins. Winnipeg's 1 win away from that, so they'll tie the point total, but also they'll have less losses, so that'll kind of clinch it. Montreal only has 24 wins, but still, they just need 2 wins, so they'll probably still clinch as well. So we're looking at Winnipeg, Montreal, Toronto, and Edmonton in the North. Interesting. With the only real battle is Nashville and Dallas. Everywhere else we kind of see the norm. So that's your playoff update. We will talk about some teams like surging.
Yes.
Lately, Minnesota being weird because they didn't make any moves and they still are surging. So I don't know how to explain that, but other than that,
all the teams that are behind Minnesota made moves, but they were the wrong moves.
I actually don't think anyone else, like the Central was super quiet. I don't think the Kings made any moves. I think, or the West, the Sharks made moves.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Same thing with Colorado.
All right, let's hop in to some injuries, signings, and waiver stuff that happened on either the day of or even after. Alrighty, so let's start with some injuries. Now, the only ones I put here were all the ones that people were out for the season, just because there's a lot of injuries in the league. So there are 8 players out for the season, and I might be wrong. Cap Friendly stopped counting at April 29th, so I don't know other than that. But from what I do know, Werenski is out, Bobby Ryan is out, so no trade for him because he is injured. Radulov, Bishop, and Jack Eichel all confirmed out. Tyler Bertuzzi, Joshua Brown on the Senators, and then Brett Howden on the Rangers. So some depth players there. Josh Brown is... No, it's Josh Norris who's playing really well. I was like, wait, is that the rookie? No, but no. Okay. Kind of sucks for all those teams, but I think the only team that really actually is bad for is Dallas, because now they don't have Radulov and Bishop, and they're still competing. All the other teams are out, so kind of doesn't matter there. All right, let's get into some signings. What do you think about the Tanner Pearson 3 years, $3.25 million per year from Vancouver?
Personally, I think this is a really debatable choice because, one, he's a decent player. He's pretty aggressive on the forecheck, but they should have done this with Tyler Toffoli.
Probably. Let's see. I just want to check his points. And he has 15 points in 43 games this year. He had a 45 and 69 games last season. He's been playing hockey. This season he's seen kind of a downfall. I don't know about that. If he's already starting to regress, he's 28 years old, so still not too bad, but like I don't know. He could maybe put him on a 2-year deal. 3 years at 3.25. It's not terrible to say, but like it's not what you want. Like maybe $3 million. Like if you can't sign, like you too big UF or RFAs to sign, Pedersen and Hughes. Like I feel like those guys require a bit more cap, just a bit.
It's a slight amount, almost as much as this quarter, about 25 cents.
This is interesting. So Nikita Gusev was placed on unconditional waivers on April 9th. He cleared on the 10th and became a free agent, so that's what unconditional is. And then on a couple days later, signed with Florida. 1 year, $1 million per year. That's a good deal, honestly. Now, with that one, I actually don't know. Wait, let me go back to the signings page on Cap Friendly. Cap Friendly is great. Okay, so that's just this year. So next year, or this season, this offseason, he will need a new contract. And he'll be a UFA, so he'll actually be able to, like, go back to the Panthers if he wants. Because they've been doing really well. So I honestly don't see anything wrong with this contract. 1 year, $1 million. He has 5 points in 10 games already with the Panthers, so that's a decent signing. What do you think?
I think if he works out, I feel like they should maybe re-sign him in the off season.
Yeah.
But because then he would have an entire season to show Florida what he's got, then he quite possibly will flourish, and he's got himself a team right there.
Yep. All right. Another interesting one. What are your thoughts on Alex Iafallo? 4 years, $4 million per year from LA. A lot of speculation at the deadline, but then he actually signed with LA, which people didn't think he would do the day before. What are your thoughts?
My brother's pretty happy. He's a Kings fan.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they could have maybe spread the money out a little more for younger guys. But
Iafallo is he is 27 years old, so still he'll get out of his contract at 31. You're in the prime of your career, probably 25 to 32, in my opinion. And this year, he's had really, he's been getting better. He has 27 points in 49 games on a, I wouldn't say struggling, but just not good Kings team. And they have a lot of young players coming up. He'll be kind of a guy who gets a lot more playing time with those young players. He's a left wing or a center, so that gives options. Could play with Byfield or Turcotte, or just, they have a bunch of players, Kaliev. So, I think that's a good signing. $4 million, that's solid, yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that, except for the fact they have Doughty for $11 million per year, but we're not going to talk about that. This is a painful one. So this is the only contract here that I actually, wince at. Scott Lawton. 5 years, $3 million per year from Minnesota. No, Florida. You're like, no, Billy Guerin wouldn't do that to us. No, that's all Flyers. I don't know why I said Minnesota. Yeah, the Philadelphia Flyers. Lawton is 26, so younger than I thought, but 5 years. And my issue with this, he has 19 points in 50 games. He's not a point scorer. That's not his role. He could $2 million a year. Yes, 2.5. Maybe cut it down to 4 years. This is when you start getting into the Kevin Hayes contract. That was a high, like 7x7 for a guy, Kevin Hayes. So
Yeah.
Scott Lawton, not as like this isn't as bad of a contract, but it's like still 5 years. I would go like a 3x3 would make sense. A 4x2.5. If you're gonna go 5 years, which you probably shouldn't, go $2 million for that. But
he's a third line left. Third line left wing / center.
yeah, so I don't really see anything with him. Like that's not a great contract for him. Connor Sheary, 2 years, 1.5 per year for Washington. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I think that's a good contract. I really do.
I agree, and he. Oh yeah, so he was already playing on the Caps. He signed there in the offseason, and that was his extension. So that's two more years, 1.5 per year. I like that. I think that's really good for him because he has 21 points in 49 games. Like 1.5 million per year for a 28-year-old who he's a depth player, can score, 13 goals and 8 assists, and 1.5 million. That's a good contract for a third or fourth liner who can score. You know, that is like comparable to Scott Lawton. When you compare those two contracts, it makes the Scott Lawton look so much worse. Yeah. And we got a lot of entry-level deals. And just some of the notable ones being Rodion Amirov for Toronto, Dylan Holloway, Edmonton, Lucas Raymond, Detroit, Alexander Holtz, New Jersey, Justin Barron from Colorado, and Yegor Chinnikov, Columbus. So, just a bunch of young players getting signed. That's good. Will you introduce us to the next player we need to talk about, Ben?
A player that I think Minnesota should have gone after, Adam Laurie, 5 years, $3.25 million per year for Winnipeg.
Yeah, so let me just check his stats for this year. If they're good, 20 points in 47 games, 3.25 for 5 years.
He's doing better than half of Minnesota. Minnesota's getting carried by their top three line.
Kaprizov, Eriksson, Ek, and Fiala.
Yeah. Eriksson Ek's on a burst.
And Zuccarello, actually. Zuccarello's doing well.
Eriksson Ek's on a burst right now. He had a huge bump up in points.
Yeah. So I thought this contract was better because I thought he was scoring a bit more. But this is, let me just check Tanner Pearson. If Pearson is the most comparable to this contract, in my opinion, the one signed today. All right, 15 points in 43 games. It's not much better, but he's getting a bit more points. You're paying him $3.25 million for 5 years. What are you doing, not Winnipeg? Dear God, I'm like,
dude. If you say we made another bad mistake, then I
just want to say, what is that contract? That's like maybe worse than Lawton.
Wait, are you saying that contract is a wild contract? That's a mistake that they would do? A mistake that they done did in the past?
Like Zuccarello, Suter, Parisi.
Let's see.
Spurgeon was a bit expensive.
Yeah, he was.
Zuccarello at least is playing up. But let's off the Minnesota talk. Laurie, bad contract. Moving on to some more Minnesota talk. Never mind. You can introduce this round. Let me just wallow in my shame.
Ryan Hartman, baby. All right, $1.7 million per year for 3 years. I feel like that is solid for the way that he's been playing. but I feel like a little less would have been better. Maybe 1 million straight or 1.3.
I actually disagree with that. So he's 26, so he's still young. This year he has 19 points in 46 games. So 1.7, 3 years. He's having a pretty good season. And yeah, he's having a bump up in production from last year when he had 20 in 69 games. So this year 19 and 46. So way less games to get about the same production. So that's good. And he's become like a depth player. Like you were looking for fourth liners and third liners all throughout our predictions. They didn't make any moves except for signing Hartman. And this is a good move by them, I think. All right. Finally done there. Signings. Okay. Let's move quickly through the waivers and then get to the beef of this video, the trades. We've got Drake. This name confuses me. Drake
Kagula.
Jake Kajula. I think it's Kajula or something like that. Drake Kajula. Arizona places him on waivers on April 8th, and Buffalo claims him on the 9th. Drake, I'm sorry, man. You just got sent to Buffalo. I don't know what to do. Salute. I don't even I don't even know him that well as a player. I just know you don't want to go to Buffalo. He's on Buffalo. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
You do have to hand it to Buffalo. They have a boost at the moment.
Nope.
They could make the playoff. No.
No, I just want to say Buffalo is on they're 2-game winning streak, but they're 4-6-0. Oh, the 2-game winning streak was against the Islanders, which is really funny. Yeah. Because that helped the Bruins take third place. Never mind though. Buffalo, go away. Kajula, sorry dude. I don't know if he's a free agent or not, but then we also have 2 more waiver claims. Sami Vatanen and Victor Mete both claimed or placed on waivers on the 11th. Vatanen is claimed by Dallas on the 12th. Solid claim. Vatanen's a pretty good player. And Mete claimed by Ottawa on the 12th as well, which is trade deadline. And actually, unlike with Buffalo, Mete, I do not feel bad for him going to Ottawa. Ottawa has a really bright future.
They just need to work.
Well, no, they just need Matt Murray to live up to the contract that he signed. Please.
Come on, dude. Get your spiky hair in the game.
But, yeah, that's all for the waivers. Let's get to the trades. And before we get to the trades, just gotta do some plugging real quick. We have our podcast available on Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Stitcher. Tumblin Muffins. That's just the name. And then on YouTube as well, if you want to see the Google Meet version, you can see that on YouTube. Just Tumblin Muffins is the channel name.
Faces.
Yeah. I think that's all the plugging we got, so let's just get to the trades. Starting with a blockbuster, I can't remember, I think this is on the 9th. For viewers, or for listeners who aren't watching on the YouTube version, Ben just pulled out a plug and said, I'm plugging the channel. So.
Good.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. We have this stuff like this. You'll miss it if you don't. I'm not going to be shouting out, saying all the video stuff. So if you wanna see that, make sure to check us out on YouTube.
Be the human subtitle for me.
All right. So April 9th, the Islanders get Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac, both 50% retained on contracts. And then the Devils get a 2021 first, a conditional fourth. AJ Greer, who we have talked about in the past, is like a gritty guy who can have some upside with points. And then Mason Jobst. So, Palmieri.
For those who don't know, Noah, can you please explain what 50% of the salary retained for those who don't know?
Well, the other team just have. You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, we have a hockey podcast. Okay. Basically, New Jersey kept half of Palmieri and Zajak's salary. And those salaries are, so Palmieri has a $4.65 million cap hit, so the Devils retained 2.325, something like that. And Zajac has a $5.75 million cap hit, so that would be like somewhere around 3, or somewhere just like 2.8 or something. I don't know. And both of them will be UFA, unrestricted free agents, after this year. So Palmieri has, he has 20 points in 48 games this season with the Islanders and Devils, and Zajac has 20 points in 44 games. So they actually have the same point total, even though both of them, like, they have 4 points with the Islanders and 2 points with the Islanders. So neither of them have really done amazing, and the Islanders actually, since the trade deadline, have been worse somehow. They gave up their first round pick. A bunch of teams did, actually. Didn't really get too much production out of it, except for Kyle Palmieri shaving his beard, so I don't know what that's all about. And then AJ Greer, I'm just gonna look at the stats I have. He has a cap hit of $700,000. He will be a UFA this year, and in 11 games played in the AHL, as of the stats I have on my paper, 3 points in 11 games. And Mason Jobst has 2 points in 7 games in the AHL, $792,000, $100,000 cap hit. So honestly, I think the Devils won that just based on the how the Islanders have been doing. They not well. In their last 10 games, which is most since the trade deadline, mostly since, they are 4-4-2, and that's compared to the Bruins 7-2-1, the Penguins 7-3-0, the Wild at 7-3, or no, the Wild at 8-1-1, Vegas at 8-2-0. The Islanders just haven't been doing well since the deadline, and they just lost 2 in a row to the Sabres, 1 in overtime, 1 in regulation. That's kind of bad. So, what are your thoughts on this trade, Ben?
Like you have said, the Islanders aren't doing good with the players that they acquired from the Devils.
Yeah.
But New Jersey has no chance in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Islanders do. They got some playoff people who, actually, we don't really know if they can perform in the playoffs. They've only been in them once. Because the Devils. That's a joke. No, that's really funny.
Any New Jersey fans, I apologize for him. He's supposed to be the neutral one. He's supposed to be the one that
it's funny because, well, New Jersey can't make the playoffs, but the thing is, this year, but they missed it, except for that one time where Taylor Hall he put everyone in their backpack and carried them to the playoffs, and then got slapped by Tampa Bay. But other than that year, because no one else helped him on that year, yeah, Palmieri and Zajac are players.
Well, teams in the East are used to getting slapped by Tampa Bay.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Look at your nose.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Grab your paper bag.
Dear God. Alright. Next trade, please.
You got it, man. Alright, the next trade is Panthers get Lucas Wallmark and Lucas Carlson, 2 Lucases. And Blackhawks get Brett Connolly, Riley Stillman, the signing rights to Henrik Borgstrom.
Who they, I think, later did. No, they haven't signed him yet. They signed Riley Stillman.
And a 2021 7th rounder.
So, basically what this trade is the Panthers getting a bit of depth in Walmart. Carlson, I think, is just a prospect. And then the Blackhawks, Riley Stillman and Henrik Borgstrom are both solid prospects. They're both, yeah, like I said, both solid prospects. So that's that. And then Brett Connolly, the reason he was in this deal is, well, the Blackhawks get a bit of depth, but it's really just a cap dumps because Borgstrom was not going to sign with the Panthers, so they used moving Connolly's cap to a team like the Blackhawks, who have a lot, and then also giving them another, so they get two solid prospects with some cap and a veteran, 7th round pick, and they give up a couple players who just weren't working out on the Blackhawks. So I think the Blackhawks won that.
Yeah, I think so too. And that 7th rounder is going to come in handy for drafting me.
Yeah. The last trade, I had thought that the last trade, when I researched it, I was like, yeah, it was an equal trade. But no, the Devils won that now just because of how Palmieri and Zajac have performed. So, okay. Next, the Blue Jackets get a 2022 conditional 2nd rounder, and the Leafs get Riley Nash. The condition is if Nash plays in 25% of the Leafs playoff games, then they get this. Then I think it might upgrade or something. I don't wait. It's not a 2nd round pick. I don't know why I put that. It's a 7th round pick. And the pick upgrades to a 6th if Nash plays in 25% of playoff games. Currently, Nash is not playing. He's injured. He got injured right before the deadline, and Toronto still picked him up, thinking he could help. I don't think this condition is going to be met, because they have, a ridiculous amount of players. What was Toronto doing? They just decided to get everyone and hope they won. They have 3 goalies.
Veteran ever.
They have 3 goalies. All right.
Name some veterans that they don't have. They have Thornton. They have
a line of Thornton. It's their 4th line is Thornton, Spezza, and Simmons.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
well, at least Toronto can have people who won the cup.
Yeah. Anyway, that trade. Right. The Blue Jackets won because Riley Nash had a $2.75 million cap hit. It went right to Leafs IR, but they got rid of that cap hit, and now, even though I think Nash is a UFA, let me just check. Yeah, he's going to be a UFA. They got rid of that cap hit so that they could make room for other trades, that they could take on more cap hit, which we will talk about later. Next, we've got an Avalanche trade.
Avalanche get Patrick Nemeth. 50% of his salary will be retained. Red Wings get a 2022 4th round pick.
I'd say this is
the Islanders. Avalanche won this trade.
I think it's an even trade. I mean, maybe the Avalanche won just a bit, but he's just a really depth player. They're paying him. It's $1.5 million for him because retained the other $1.5 million, and Red Wings get a 2022 4th rounder. And with how Nemeth has played, I don't think he's even gotten a point on the Avalanche yet. I could be wrong. Let me just make sure I'm not. Don't want to give you guys the wrong information. He has 1 goal on the Avalanche, and he had 8 points with the Red Wings. So he's just a really 4th line player. Maybe I think it might be a bit on the Avalanche side just because they retained, or the Red Wings retained, and then also only a bit of the. It's only a 2022 4th. That's easy. So that might be the only reason. So. Solid there by the Avs, just to get some depth. Next, this is actually a pretty good trade. The Sabres get a 2021 3rd, and the Panthers get Brandon Montour, who has a $3.85 million cap hit. Struggled on Buffalo, but dude, everyone has. Let me just check his stats on the Panthers. I'm not sure if they've been amazing, but Brandon Montour is a good defenseman. So, and also it just adds more depth, especially since Aaron Ekblad went down. Okay. Oh yeah, he was one of the injuries that we missed. Aaron Ekblad, season ending. I think broken leg. Sad. 4 points in 11 games for the Panthers after 14 and 38 for the Sabres. So Montour's actually also really good defensively. So just good stats, good all around. The Panthers won that for getting him for cheap. He could have got a second rounder or like a third and a fourth liner or like a minor prospect or something like that. But yeah, Brandon Montour, that's a good pickup for the Panthers who need defense.
I'd like to introduce this next one.
Yeah.
Avalanche. Get Devin Dubnyk. Spoke about him earlier. And the Sharks get Greg Pateryn and a 2021 fifth rounder. And as Devin Dubnyk and Pateryn were swapping, they're like, hey, remember when we played on Minnesota together? But I do think the Sharks won this trade.
Yeah, I had said that. Oh yeah, and then okay, he's on the what team is he on right now? The Wild, right? It says he's on the Wild now.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, it's counting the Wild. It should have the Wild above the Avalanche, but it has it below it. Okay, so the Sharks, he has 1 point in 2 games with them. Hasn't played a lot with them. I still have to say the Sharks win just because Devin Dubnyk's not very good at all.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the goals scored in the Avalanche when he's in net, it's like not good goals. Like if you have Grubauer or Francouz in net, like you get the save there. It's kind of. But yeah, that's a Avalanche win by far. Now, here's where a spicy trade comes in. 3 teams. We had a lot of these. The Blue Jackets, they get a first-round pick in 2021 and a third-round pick in 2022 from Tampa. The Red Wings get a fourth-round pick in 2021 from Tampa. And the Red Wings also get David Savard from the Blue Jackets. And the Blue Jackets did retain half his contract, and then the Red Wings send Savard and Brian Lashoff to Tampa, also retaining half. So 3/4 of his contract was retained in order to get him on Tampa.
So David Savard
goes to Tampa, he never played for the Red Wings. It was just so that the cap works, so he just goes through the Red Wings.
About an hour.
Not even, no, not like literally like 30 seconds. It was just the Red Wings took on some of his contract so that the trade to Tampa worked. And this is when I don't need this paper anymore. I think Columbus won this one. Because they get a first-round pick.
2021 first. Yeah. That's basically...
They get the first-round pick. They do retain some salary, but then they also get a third-round pick. So, like, that's solid. And David Savard's... Let me just check David Savard. I know he's, like... Yeah, he has 0 points in 10 games for the Lightning. He only had 6 for 40 in 40 games for the Blue Jackets. I don't know what... I know he's a really solid, like, defensive defenseman, but I'm not sure what about that shows that you need a first-round pick. It might be all the salary that was retained, but I think the Blue Jackets won this. And on these 3-team trades, we're not going to be counting the middle team because they really just were cap. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were lying that they were cap.
Dear God. Next trade is the Devils get Jonas Siegenthaler, and the Capitals get a conditional third-round pick for this year's draft. Okay. So, currently Arizona's draft pick is listed as conditional between Arizona and New Jersey for that trade. if the condition is not met and the pick is not transferred to New Jersey, then they traded the Arizona one. If the Arizona one does not go through to New Jersey, then this pick turns into New Jersey's because all of Arizona's top picks in the top 3 rounds of the draft were taken away. I can't remember the reason, but I know it was bad. Basically, New Jersey got Arizona's pick, and then it was kind of voided. So if the condition for that pick does not go through, they traded it to the Capitals. So if it doesn't go through, then the Capitals get New Jersey's pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Siegenthaler, $800K contract this season with the Capitals and Devils. He's played 13 games, has 0 points. Depth defenseman. This is an easy win for the Capitals because they get a 3rd-round pick for a defenseman with 0 points and played 7 games with them. So, good job, Caps. Okay, this is when the trades start heating up. We got the Red Wings getting Hayden Verbeek and a 5th-round pick, Ottawa's 5th-round pick in 2021 for John Merrill. Verbeek is just an NAHLer.
John Mayer.
Nope.
I thought you just said John Mayer.
No, sir. Merrill has, this season with the Red Wings and Canadiens, 5 points in 44 games. Depth defenseman. I think this is a win for the Red Wings for getting a AHL player and a 5th-round pick for someone who has 5 points in 44 games. John Merrill, though, is a solid defensive defenseman, so it does lean towards the equal side. What about you, Ben? What do you think?
From what you just said, I feel like Red Wings won.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna read this trade, and then you can talk about it because this is a fun trade. So the Blue Jackets get another 1st-round pick. They get Toronto's 2021 1st-round pick and a 2022 4th from them. Then they send Nick Foligno to the Sharks, or the Sharks get Nick Foligno, who the Blue Jackets retained 50% of. And the Sharks also get a 2021 4th-round pick from Toronto. And then the Sharks send Foligno to the Maple Leafs, retain another half of this contract, and they also send Stefan Nason to the Maple Leafs. This one, again, the Blue Jackets won.
It's a 1st-rounder, yeah.
Yeah, they just got 2 1st-rounders for...
Nick Foligno. Foligno's worth a 2nd.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The contract, maybe, because they retained it. But they got another team in on that, so that wasn't even that much. Columbus has 3 1st-round picks in this draft. 2 of them from Tampa and Toronto, so not that good, but, still. But it's funny because Foligno's a UFA, so if he wanted, he could just go and in the offseason re-sign with the Blue Jackets, so make it so that they rented their captain out to Toronto for a couple months for the playoffs and then got him back for next season. That would be funny if they did that. Got a 1st-round pick out of it.
Yeah, it actually would be pretty funny.
I actually want that because I like seeing Nick Foligno in a Columbus uniform. Makes me sad seeing him in Toronto because he's been in Columbus a long time. Alright, you can announce this next one.
Alright, prepare the platypus. Alright. Let's see. Flames get a 2022 3rd-rounder. Leafs got David Riddick.
Retained 50% as well. The Flames did. This one's interesting. Because the Leafs already had Jack Campbell. They had Freddie Anderson, who's actually recovering from an injury. Who's playing a game tonight in the AHL. Playing half a game in the AHL to do a conditioning. But David Riddick.
Unpopular opinion, Flames won.
That's not an unpopular opinion. Well, currently, in the 4 games he has played, Riddick, for the Leafs, he has a .888 save percentage, and at a 2.71 goals against average. For the Flames, in the 15 games he played for them this season, he had a 2.9 goals against average and a 904 save percentage. So he's not a great goalie. Except, like, he's, in the last couple seasons, he's gone down a lot. I think the Flames getting a third-round pick for him, pretty good, seeing as the Flames were not playing him. Yeah. All right. The Islanders get Braden Coburn for a 2022 7th. So Coburn comes from the Senators. Just a gritty depth defenseman. Even trade, honestly. That's a pretty even trade. You?
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty even.
All right. So this one, we're gonna talk about the Bruins trades.
Here comes the Sweeneys.
Yep. So we're gonna talk about the Bruins trade. We're gonna skip over the other trade in between these two. So first, at 10 p.m. at night on April 11th, the day before the trade deadline, I would stand up with my Twitter open, or just watching hockey Twitter go nuts as the trades came in. The Bruins get Mike Riley from the Senators for a 2022 third. Most people will go, who's heard of him? Well, I did in the predictions video. I called it. I did have like a bit more in that trade. But Mike Riley, he had 19 assists with the Senators in 12 games with the Bruins. He has 6 assists, I believe. Might be 7. But he is really good at puck moving. Like, when I'm watching with the Bruins, he's just moving the puck so well. The Bruins are 10-2-1 since the trade deadline. They are going, like, the Bruins look so good, and Mike Riley is one of the main reasons, because he has helped that defense come back from, like, how it was doing, which was bad. It's doing well now, and, like, the Bruins defense is just really good, especially getting Carlo back. Mike Riley is a super, like, really good puck-moving defenseman, and I'm super happy we have him.
Yeah. Boston obviously won.
And, yeah, Boston really fleeced the Senators there. And then they fleeced the Sabres. Sweeneys comes back at it again. They get Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar for a 2021 second and Anders Bjork. Bjorky, sorry to see you go, man, but like he's doing well in the Sabres. He has, I think, a bunch of goals, some assists, but he's getting more play time. He's getting the opportunity. But then Taylor Hall, the Sabres retained 50% of his salary, so we only have to pay him $4 million. Lazar, $800K. That was just for salary reasons. Lazar is basically, he is the fourth line center, just going to be there the rest of the season and playoffs. He's fun, dude. Lazar is going in, hitting guys, playing well defensively. Then Taylor Hall. Hall has been on the second line with David Krejci and Craig Smith. He had said in an interview his confidence was a bit wavering. Like it was actually destroyed in Buffalo. He had been doing terrible. In 12 games with the Bruins, Hall has 6 goals and 5 assists. Krejci has, I think it is 6 goals and 9 assists, so 15 points in 12 games. For Hall, it's 11 and 12, and then Craig Smith also has 11 and 12. I can't remember the goals and assist ratio, but dude, Hall also has been like insane defensively. He's been back checking a ton, getting the puck, fighting off like 2-on-1s. This trade is amazing for the Bruins, and I just want to say, this season, because of all the contracts expiring, the Bruins are going to have $45 million in cap space. Just counting the contracts that aren't expiring. That's a lot of money.
They're going to be buying.
Yes, I kind of want. I kind of want them to get.
We should talk about the one that you skipped.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I just like the fact that like the Bruins have been like a team reimagined, like at the trade deadline, they just lost 8-1 because we had 4 non-rostered defensemen on the team. So, I mean, that wasn't really our fault because of tons of injury. But,
not your fault. Yep, not your fault.
But the Bruins came out of the trade deadline, won 2 against the Sabres, 2 against the Islanders, 1 against the Sabres, 2 against the Islanders, 1 against the Caps, and then beat the Sabres twice, 2 times, and then lost to the Penguins, then beat the Penguins, or what, no. We went on a 6-game win streak, lost 2, and then won 4 more. We just lost to the Devils in overtime, but Bruins looking great. Don Sweeney is a madman, and these trades, like, the reason Hall, it was so little is because Hall had a no-movement clause, and he only was going to waive it for Boston, so they just got to get some free stuff. So, dude, the Bruins are so good, and I just love it. Hall scored a goal with his butt last night. He was crashing the net, passed to Grzelcyk behind him, and then he didn't really get tripped, but to avoid contact with the goalie, and he jumped, and Grzelcyk, instead of shooting at the net, shot it at Taylor Hall's butt, and it bounced off and went in the net. So Hall scored a goal for the Bruins without any of his skate, like none of him or his stick were touching the ground, and he scored a goal. So,
next Orr.
Well, Orr had his stick, he shot and then tripped. But no, it was just like he's had such an effect for the team. David Krejci is a man reimagined. Like, he's 35 and he had 15 points in 12 games. I love it. All right. Thank you guys for enduring my long Bruins rant. I enjoy it, and let's get to the next trade.
All right. So, the Kings get a 2022 conditional 3rd rounder and a 2023 conditional 4th rounder.
Both from Pittsburgh?
The Penguins, yep. The Penguins get Jeff Carter, 50% retained by the Kings.
So,
I think this is a pretty big trade. I think that and people who don't have a good team like you, this is a big trade.
No, Pittsburgh's first in the division, yeah. Not all because of Carter, but no, Crosby's been really good. But no, the Penguins have been really good, and the conditions on these picks before we actually deep dive into these trades are the 3rd rounder in 2022 can upgrade to a 2nd if the Penguins reach the Stanley Cup final, and Carter plays in 50% of the games, which he will unless he gets injured. And the 4th can upgrade to a 3rd if Carter plays in at least 50 games next season, which, like I said, unless he gets injured, probably will.
Yeah.
So even with those conditions, it's basically a 2nd and a 3rd for Carter if they're met, but I don't think the Penguins are going to reach the final because of the Bruins. I think the way it's gonna go here is, it's gonna be really good for the Penguins. I mean, it has been. Carter has, if we just look at his stats with the Penguins, he has 4 goals and 2 assists in 12 games. He's been effective. I think the Penguins won this trade. He scored against the Bruins when the Bruins beat them 3-1. Carter had the only goal with 2 minutes left. It was no way of stopping. Beautiful shot off the post and in. He's been a good player for them. So I think that is definitely a Penguins win on that trade. Okay. What did a Kings fan like your brother feel when Carter left?
I don't even think he knows about it.
Wow. So, now a Blackhawks Vancouver Canucks trade. The Blackhawks get Adam Gaudette, and the Canucks get Matthew Highmore. Highmore he's a prospect. He's not really a prospect, 25 years old. Right now, a depth player. He hasn't really scored a lot of points. Gaudette is 24 years old. and in 5 games with the Blackhawks has 4 points. So Gaudette has made a bigger impact, and also Highmore. I thought he was younger, but no, Highmore is older and has not been great. I don't really understand this trade from a Canucks perspective, other than clearing $250,000 in cap. Yeah, this is definitely Blackhawks win.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
The Oilers and Devils. Oilers get Dmitry Kulikov. The Devils get a 2022 conditional 4th rounder.
And the condition is the 4th rounder will upgrade to a 2022 3rd rounder if the Oilers win a playoff round this year. All things considered, they probably will.
So most likely, it's going to be a 3rd rounder.
Yeah. So Kulikov, I'm gonna check how he's been doing. You talk about this trade a bit.
I think from what I've heard about Kulikov in the past and the somewhat recent, he's had moments, and he's had his moments where he's really good, and he's had his moments where he fails, but a lot of the moments where he's really good outshines the moments where he fails. So I feel like the Oilers won this, but if he does not play out, then I believe that will change to being the Devils win.
Yeah, so he has 1 point in 6 games with the Oilers. Honestly, usually where you get a depth player for a pick, especially a lower pick, it works out. This is a 3rd rounder, so it's a bit iffy, but I feel like it's an even trade. No one won this trade. I think it's an even trade. Oilers got some needed defensive depth, and the Devils got a pick, which they need. Alright. The Sharks get Magnus Krona, the signing rights, and the Lightning get Frederick Claesson. AHL trade. I'm just gonna really quick check their stats. I really don't think there's Okay, so Magnus Krona is a goalie. Solid stats in the AHL, I think. Maybe it's not the AHL. I think it is. Also juniors. Claesson is a left defenseman at 28 years old. And with the Sharks this year, in 4 games, he has 0 points. So, let me just check that other guy, Krona. Depending on how old he is, the Sharks won. 20 years. Oh, yeah, the Sharks won. I don't know what the Lightning are doing with that. Yeah, Sharks won that trade. Alright, I do want you to talk. Here, I'm gonna. The Avalanche get Carl Soderberg again. And the Blackhawks get Josh Dickinson and the signing rights to Ryder Rolston. So some AHL players for Carl Soderberg. How does this trade look from your perspective?
I think it's an even trade. Carl Soderberg, he's a veteran of the sport. He's been all over the league. I'm pretty sure he's won a cup.
Nope. He has not won a cup.
There goes half of my point. But
he was on the Avs for 4 years.
I don't know too much about the
AHL players.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them, but
yeah, I think it's just prospects.
I have heard that Dickinson is doing pretty well.
Josh Dickinson. Right now, with the Avs, Soderberg has 2 points in 8 games. Josh Dickinson.
Sounds like a farmer's name in Iowa.
I mean, he has 5 points in 15 games in the AHL with a couple different teams. Just average. And then Rolston, I don't think he's been signed. Yeah, no, he's in the NCAA with 6 points in 28 games. I think it's an even trade because the Blackhawks get some more prospects, which they need for the future, and Colorado gets a depth player they can use on their 3rd and 4th line.
Yeah. Panthers and Flames. Panthers get Sam Bennett and a 2021 6th rounder. The Flames got Emil Heineman and a 2022 2nd rounder.
Yeah. And this is actually basically Bennett for 2 second rounders because Heineman was a 2nd round pick and he has not played yet. or just anything yet. So basically, Bennett and a sixth for 2 second-rounders, which is more... Like, I just want to point out, the Bruins played... Taylor Hall was less expensive than Foligno, Savard, and Bennett, and there's and Palmieri. I just want to say just going back to that trade again. It's an absolute steal. But let's just keep going with this trade.
I think the Panthers. Well, no. Panthers won.
Yeah, Panthers did win this trade. Bennett in 9 games has 5 goals and 8 assists for 13 points. That's pretty good. I think he's playing with like either Barkov or Huberdeau, so getting an elite playmaker. And the Panthers have just been rolling. They've been playing not that great teams, so yeah.
Another big one.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call this big. It's just a 3-team one.
Oh, it looks big on the screen.
Yeah. Blackhawks from Vegas get a 2021 second and a 2022 third. They trade Matthias Janmark to the Blackhawks, to the Sharks, and the Sharks also get a 2022 fifth from Vegas, and then the Sharks send Matthias Janmark, another 50% retained, to Vegas, and also they send Nick DeSimone there, and the Vegas also gets a 2022 fifth from Chicago. Vegas got the most in this trade, therefore they win. And also, Matthias Janmark is a good depth player that they need.
The next one, Blackhawks and Canucks. Blackhawks get a 2021 fourth rounder. Canucks got a Mr. Madison Bowie and a 2021 fifth rounder.
Yeah,
I saved it with the Mr.
Player for pick. It's mainly player for pick in the Vancouver. Even got another player or pick. So, basically just the Blackhawks sending them Madison Bowie. So, I'd say the Vancouver Canucks win this one. This is an interesting one though. This one's really interesting. So. This is actually the blockbuster of the deadline, not Hall, even because it was the most unexpected as well. People didn't expect this to happen. The Red Wings get Richard Panik, Jakub Vrana, a first and a second, for Anthony Mantha going to the Capitals. Wow. What are your thoughts on this one, Bob?
The Capitals have made a grave mistake.
I can agree with that.
Anthony Mantha has not been playing too well.
I mean, he had 4 goals in his first 4 games with them, goal per game, and then now he has, in the last 6 games, he has 2 assists. So, 6 points in 10 games isn't terrible, and he's a depth player for them, or like not depth, but like
he was not doing good at all.
No, he had a half a point per game, but he was on Detroit, so you can't really blame him.
But the thing is, it's the first rounder and Vrana for me. They
overpaid for a piece that could help them perform in the playoffs, so I do understand why the trade happened. It was a bit of an overpayment. You could have removed the second, but it was also the Red Wings taking on Panik's contract, which isn't the greatest. Vrana has 7 points in 9 games for the Red Wings, so he's doing better for the Red Wings than Mantha is for the Caps. And then Panik, the contract isn't great. It goes until 2023, paying him $2.75 million per year. Panik's not that good of a player, but it was so the trade worked. Makes sense. He has 2 points with the Red Wings, so all right. And then the first and the second. So I think Detroit just fleeced the Caps there.
Yeah.
Stevie Y doing his thing. Good work from him. We have 7 trades left, and they're all very... Now we're back on the mostly small trades.
trade.
Yep. Ducks get a 5th-round pick in 2022 from Toronto for Ben Hutton. Player for pick. Leafs win just because they get Ben Hutton, who is a solid-ish defenseman. They're, like we said earlier, they're just getting as much depth as they can. The Canadiens get Eric Gustafson, and the Flyers get a 2022 7th. They 1.5 million or 50% retained. The fact that the Flyers got anything for Eric Gustafson, who has turned from his 60-point season 2 years ago to now being a pylon on defense. He's very bad. And somehow they got a 7th-round pick for him. Even though they retained 50%, I don't know. I actually have to say the Canadiens win this just because they got a player and the Flyers paid a 7th-round pick to retain 50% of someone's cap. So that's kind of just... the next trade, Ben.
All right. We've got the Ducks and Canes. Ducks get Hayden Fleury. Hurricanes get Yanni Hakanpää.
Yanni Hakanpää.
And a 2022 6th-rounder. Thank you for being my translator.
I don't think this is a bad trade. Hakanpää has 2 goals in 12 games with the Hurricanes. Fleury with the Ducks
Sounds like a Swedish dessert.
has 2 goals or 2 points in 10 games. So, in my opinion, I still think the Ducks won this because they got a young defenseman to add to the core they're building for the future. Even though I think Hakanpää is a right defenseman, and Fleury is a left defenseman, and they had too many lefty, so they get Hakanpää, who is a right defenseman, who they actually need more of that side. So I think it was a smart trade by the Carolina Hurricanes. So I think the Ducks still win this, but it was a smart trade. The Sharks get Alexander Barabanov from the Leafs for Antti Suomela, who is a center, 27 years old. I don't think he's played at all this year. No, he's 4 games and no points. Barabanov is 26 years old, and for the Leafs, he has 1 assist in 13 games, but for the Sharks, 5 points in 5 games. So, I think it was just a cap dump because the Suomela is not signed, and Barabanov is signed to $925,000. So, I think that's just the reason.
All right, let's look at this trade that, honestly, it is the last trade, but...
Nope, there's still 2 more after it. Might have forgot. Did I forget to add them to the document?
Yes, you did.
Oh. Yeah, we have 2 more after... I'm on cat-friendly, though, on my phone, so it's fine.
Alright, so, the one that I don't like is, if you remember our first video, you know why I don't like this.
Yep.
The Predators get Eric Goodbranson.
Yeah, this is just...
Senators get Brandon Fortunato.
Don't know who he is.
And a 2023 7th round.
With the Predators, he has...
Saying about the flipping trade.
With the Predators, Goodbranson has 1 assist. With the Senators, he had 3 points in 36 games and was minus 13. He's not a good defenseman. Eric Goodbranson, and he has a cap hit of $4 million. Predators, disappointed in you. The Senators win for trading that contract on that player. And getting a solid prospect.
The pick is the best thing about the trade.
Fortunato isn't terrible. Next, we're just gonna speed through these last two and then peace out. Flyers get a 2021 fifth from that is actually Vegas's, and the Capitals get Michael Raffle with 25% of his contract retained. Solid trade by the Caps, another depth move. Raffle with the Flyers had 8 points in 34 games, and with the Caps is 2 in 6. So, good move. I think the Caps win that.
Yeah. Capitals won.
And you can announce this final one.
I can't see
it. Right. Okay, the Jets get Jordy Ben, and the Canucks get a 2021 sixth. Jets win. They get a defenseman player, while the Canucks get a 6th round pick.
And you know how I like Jordy Ben.
I don't, actually, but his last name is Ben, so that would explain it.
Yeah.
With Winnipeg, it really wasn't the greatest move they could have made. He's not like a super big fix. They needed help on defense. He has no points in 4 games, but that's how the trades fall. That's all we have to talk about. We're done.
Wow,
and
we're done.
The next podcast we do will be a playoff preview. So that'll be coming out. We'll be recording that the day after the regular season finishes. We'll record that and get that out to you as soon as possible.
We're done?
Yeah.
In under 2 hours?
Yeah, under 2 hours. We did it.
Yay!
Usually it takes us a lot of time to record this stuff. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tumblin Muffins. If you did, make sure to go and follow us on Stitcher, Podcast Addict, or Spotify, wherever you listen to us. Or go check out the video version on YouTube. Tumblin Muffins is our channel, and you get to see the video versions and me and Ven goofing around.
Really I found a gun!
Yeah, stuff like that. Alright, thank you guys so much for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Alright, see you later.